Alright, so I guess this is part 5 of the wagon build, the 5-speed conversion. We finally got a bunch of parts in that we needed. I got the diff cover, and I got this oil drain tube that I really should have just bought in the first place instead of trying to make my own, because I ended up making it out of hose that was not really rated for oil or anything, and you can just buy this from Subaru. I don't know if you can see the part number, but it'd be really good to get that in there. I got an OEM pilot bearing and throwout bearing. The clutch kit I got came with one, but I really don't trust those. I don't have to pull the whole transmission out again just to replace that, so it's worth spending the money now and just getting it. And this is the oil separator plate. This is like the revamped version for all, like, basically all EJs. So it was actually not too expensive, so let's pick that up. And it doesn't take a gasket or anything, it actually just uses RTB, so that'll be good. And this is the clutch I got. This is an eBay clutch. I decided to test this out and see if these are even actually worth the money. This one was like $100 for the whole kit. It didn't come with a flywheel or anything, but I figured for $100 it's worth a shot. It's for an 02 WRX. It's supposed to be a stage 2, so I think it was rated to like 310 foot-pounds or something like that, a little over 300. It was like 20% stiffer than stock. Let's see, this is the throwout bearing it came with, but I don't trust that thing. So, but it's, you know, an organic disc. It's not like a 6-puck, you know, ceramic clutch or anything. So, hopefully it should be, you know, pretty streetable. That's kind of what I was going for. This is the 5-speed I ended up going with. It's out of a 96 STI, so it's a version 2. It's basically the same transmission for the WRX as well. It came with a lot of stuff already. It came with a JDM starter, and you know, the slave cylinder, everything, and the flywheel. And this is so this is the flywheel from it. I think I showed this before, but we got it resurfaced, and they took a shitload of material off of it. So they said it would work. It's within spec, but probably not good to reuse it more than once. So we're gonna work on this diff. For some reason they cut the driveline in half, so we have to get these bolts out before we can, you know, change the cover and everything. Ugh. There we go. So yeah, they just cut that thing in half. Alright, so I'm just gonna get this cover off now.
If we can hold it.
There we go. Yes, it's not so bad. There's one more at the bottom. Wow. Clean up the gasket surface here. So I got my new cover all cleaned up, so I need to make sure this one's nice and smooth so the gasket can have a good mating surface to seal. So we got the new gasket on here. I'm just gonna kind of line it up. We're just gonna go in like a star pattern around it, like 5 times, and just get it pretty much tight. I'm not sure what the torque spec's supposed to be, but I've done this before. Just get it reasonably tight and it should be fine. I'm going to put this vent cap in here, like that, and it's good to go. Your paired vaporizer. I'm going to put my pilot bearing in the flywheel here. So we got it nice and flush with the surface here. This 15/16 socket actually worked a hell of a lot better. It was nice and square on the back, so it doesn't damage the actual bearing at all. So to hook up the reverse lights, I need to tie in this sensor right here on the transmission into this harness. This is the harness that was on the automatic transmission, and then I can just de-pin all the rest of them that I don't need and plug this into my body harness. And everything that I can find online says that it's pin 9 and 10 on the wiring diagram, which is like the black and yellow one and this red and white one. But these two right here, so these are not used, these three right here, so 9 and 10 are right here. It's just 12 total. So these are also the same colors that's on the sensor on the back, like on the tail shaft of the automatic transmission, so I don't know if that's actually the reverse light sensor or not. I can't really find anything online. But I think I should just be able to tie into these two wires here and kind of like de-pin the rest of them I don't need, and then I could just have a quick disconnect right here where I need to pull the transmission out. So since this is an updated part, it comes with different bolts that you have to use, and the replacement ones are actually Allen head key ones, and they all come in double bagged. Like, it's such a waste of plastic, like all this packaging for each individual bolt. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm just going to be using the Permatex Ultra Black. It's a really fine grit RTV, so it should seal pretty well. One thing that's really funny about this is that the original style bolts were Phillips, and they're notorious for rattling themselves out and coming loose, especially this top one. So what they did is they actually have a special bolt that has like some kind of thread locker or a thread sealer of some kind inside there. I don't know if you can see the part number. And the updated plate has a little arrow right here to the top corner bolt hole. Alright, so this right here is that bolt I was talking about. It goes up in the top one there. So I'm just going to take my RTV and make a small bead. I'm going to go around each hole and make my way all the way around. I don't want to really add too much because you don't want it to like seep inside here. So first I'm going to wipe it down some more with brake clean and then add that bead on there. So it's not, it's not pretty, but I got a nice even coat kind of all the way around it. Just use my finger, kind of smooth it out. So I should be able to just put that plate on and tighten them down just a little bit so I can form a gasket in there. Special bolt in the top corner. And there we have it. So we'll let that sit for about an hour or so, and then I go in there and snug them up just a little bit more. You don't need to get them very tight at all. I mean, it's a little Allen key, so just get it nice and snug. Alright, so it's been about a week since the last thing you saw in this video. My dad came to town for Father's Day, so we built this amazing workbench. He paid for all of it. It's pretty awesome. So we actually have a place where we can work on things now. This was kind of difficult to build because it was the ground in here isn't level, so we had to make sure that the actual top of it's level. But now we can actually store all our stuff in a reasonable place, so I'm super excited to have this. So I'm not sure what the last thing I think the last thing we did was the oil separator plate. So I think we're gonna work on getting the clutch kit installed. I gotta find my hardware and everything for this, and get it. We'll get the flywheel on there first and get that torqued down. I just threw the flywheel on. I haven't torqued these down yet. I had to go around it, the bolt pattern like maybe 25 times or so. It was a lot because it's kind of a press fit onto the crankshaft in the center where the pilot bearing goes on. So you just have to keep going around and around until it fully seats onto the crankshaft. And Megan's over here working on the rear brake lines because we already got the front done. So she's working on taking those off and putting the new StopTech braided ones on. So this side's almost done. We just gotta put some of the clips in. You just kind of take it off from here, and there's some clips there and there, and that's really it. Okay, so the flywheel bolt should be torqued down to between 58 and 62 foot-pounds. So I'm going to set this to about 60 or 62, and we kind of call it good, because I mean this thing's not totally accurate. I don't completely trust it. So I'll put it to about 62, just to be safe. Alright, so we got the flywheel all torqued down. I'm just cleaning it off with some brake clean on a rag. We want to get all the oil and everything off of there. We torqued them down to about 60 foot-pounds or so. I think I already said that. But next we're going to get the alignment tool and put the pressure plate on. Alright, so we're just going to clean up the pressure plate now. This is the clutch disc, and it came with the little alignment tool. So we'll put that in there, and then we'll stick that on the flywheel. And then we can put this on with the dowel pins and torque it down. I think it torques down to 37 foot-pounds, if I remember right. So we'll do that, and it should be good. So I got the pressure plate all torqued down. If you guys want to watch a more detailed video on how to put a clutch on, we have a video on that too. But it's basically all done. I found online it was supposed to be about 11 and a half or 11.8 foot-pounds. So I just did it to like 15 just to be safe. They're little 12 mil bolts, so you really don't want to over tighten them, but I just felt like 11 foot-pounds really is hardly anything, so that should do it. Okay, so we're working on changing the throwout bearing on here. We had to take this Allen plug right here. I used a hex 3/8, which is a little bit small, but it works, as this is actually metric. So I got that out, and then this is the rod right here that holds the pitchfork in place. And it wouldn't really want to come out for us, so I put this bolt in here because it's threaded on the inside, and you kind of had to like pry it out. And once it started to move, it came right out, and then we were able to take the throwout bearing off. So I got a new one of those. You need to make sure you clean everything in here, and get some high temp grease, and re-grease everything. Make sure it's really clean. And then we can reinstall the new one. So, here we go. Just need to clean some of this stuff out from the old clutch. It's looking pretty good. Alright, pro tip. If you're going to be putting this in, you want to take this bracket off of here. Because while we're putting the transmission in, this is going to run into the end of the firewall, and it can cause a lot of headache. So it's a whole lot easier just to take it off, and we can put it back in once the transmission's in the car. So I did end up getting an OEM throwout bearing from Subaru. This is for like a WRX. It was actually more money than my entire clutch kit from eBay cost. So I just don't want to have to do it twice. So I don't know if I showed you, we put the air compressor where it's supposed to go. We don't have it hooked up or anything yet because we need to get that fuse box wired for 240 volt. But this is going to be a whole lot nicer. We have air tools in this corner back here. So I think we're just going to end it here. I think next time we'll be putting the diff in, and hopefully actually get the transmission in. I think we're going to do that this weekend. We just need to prep a few more things here. I need to put the new linkage on here. I need to get my punches and knock that out. And put this new one I got right here. That for is actually kind of custom made. But it should work just fine. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to follow this build, just go ahead and subscribe. See you next time.